Nicola Bulley's inquest. Everything we know ahead of the coroner's court hearing. The people attending the inquest into the death of Nicola Bulley have now been vetted ahead of the final hearing in a week's time. The 100 spaces made available for the 2-day hearing, which is due to start on the 26th of June, have all been filled. They are likely to include relatives, friends, members of the press, and witnesses. Nicola's body was found on Sunday, February the 19th, 2023, after 2 walkers spotted the body by the edge of the river. The inquest opening, which was held on February the 22nd, heard that Nicola's body was identified by dental records following a visit to a dentist in January 2023. Once Nicola's body was formally identified, her family said in a statement, "Nikki, you are no longer a missing person. You have been found. We can let you rest now. We love you, always have and always will. We will take it from here." Following the discovery of Nicola's body, the coroner and Lancashire Constabulary conducted an investigation in an attempt to allow Senior Coroner Dr. James Adeley to answer 4 questions as are determined by coronarial law. These are: who died, where have they died, when have they died, and how did they come by their death. As reported in Lancashire Live, given the time between Nicola going missing and her body being found, the answers to the last 3 questions may prove to be elusive. In April, the police and Dr. Adeley issued statements after speculation was generated after divers were once more seen in the River Wyre. Dr. Adeley and his coroner's officers had requested police divers to return to the scene where Nicola Bulley went missing in order to assess the stability and topography of the bank. Their findings are likely to be revealed during next week's inquest, which will be held at County Hall in Preston. As a result of the social media storm surrounding Nicola Bulley's disappearance and the death, the coroner has taken the unusual step of requiring all those planning on attending the inquest to register in advance of next week. A total of 100 spaces were made available, with all spaces having been taken. So who will be giving evidence at this inquest? Well, a person's next of kin or even friends may be allowed to speak at the inquest, with the coroners in Lancashire often preferring to hear from someone's loved ones to get a better picture of that individual. Other witnesses can include police officers, for example, if a body has been found, health professionals, and members of the public. So what is the coroner's role in all of this? Well, at the conclusion of the inquest, a coroner will aim to answer 4 questions. Who has died? When have they died? Where have they died? And how have they come by their death? A coroner will not apportion blame or make the decision of criminal or civil liability, although the outcome of an inquest may play a role in future proceedings. So I hear you ask, what conclusions can a coroner return? As well as answering the statutory 4 questions, a coroner must return what is known as a conclusion. Conclusions can be either what is known as a short form or narrative, with short form conclusions including suicide, accidental death, industrial disease, for example, where someone has died from an illness caused by exposure to asbestos in a workplace, natural causes, drug or alcohol related death, misadventure, where an intended act has resulted in unintended consequences, lawful or unlawful killing, and road traffic collision. As reported in Lancashire Live, occasionally, even if someone has clearly taken their own life, a conclusion of unaliving themselves is not used. This can be where their actions could be deemed as a cry for help, or an instance where they may have tried to hurt themselves and things had gone wrong. A coroner can only return a conclusion of someone taking their own life if it is clear that the person did a deliberate act where the inevitable consequence would be death. A note which mentions unaliving themselves, or previous attempts at taking their own life, or a history of hurting themselves can allow a coroner to reach this conclusion. I really do hope that we get some answers as to what really happened to Nicola Bulley. It's so important that the case doesn't just get swept under the carpet. There has been so many fishy things about this case. The whole case has stunk from the beginning. I just hope that the coroner can tell that something's not right. I hope he can find answers as to what really happened to her. Nicola Bulley deserves justice. She doesn't deserve to be forgotten and to be thought of as someone who just took her own life. I really do hope that this whole inquest is not going to be a complete shambles. If you've watched my previous videos, it's clear that something is just not right. The whole thing just doesn't add up.